Hi, everybody, and welcome to week 2. We're in chapter 2 this week. We are looking this week at a view of the field. And of course, we're talking about school age care and youth development. Make sure as soon as you have some time, you read through chapter 2 of the text. There's some great resources. You'll learn a lot about different types of care, care in other countries. Very cool, very exciting stuff, so make sure you look through that when you have a chance. All right, we'll go ahead and get started. I'm going to talk through just a couple of pieces of the PowerPoint this week. Again, the entire thing will be listed in the week 2 module. Give me 1 second, I'll just move this right up. Okay, here we go. All right, so there's 4 degrees of adult supervision. Hint, hint, you will want to read through this when you take your quiz, or before you take your quiz, actually. So no supervision, distal supervision, adult supervision with some accountability, and adult supervision with full accountability. Make sure that you know the difference between some and full. Obviously there is a difference, so make sure you look through that. There's a variety of care options for school-age children, so likely you can list a few off the top of your head. Self-care, family, friend, and neighbor care. Nannies are categorized under neighbor care as well. I'll tell you just quickly, personally, I've been a nanny, and I think sometimes we have an idea of what a nanny looks like. I think sometimes it's because of what we've seen on TV, where the nanny lives in the home, is there 24/7 practically. Sometimes we categorize families, and we think that if you're a nanny, you work for a person or a couple who, have high-paying jobs or work a lot. Not always the case. There are a variety of reasons that somebody chooses a nanny. There's also a variety of ways that a nanny can structure their schedule. So I've been a nanny where I've stayed at the home Monday through Friday. I've been a nanny for a while where I was basically there morning through the evening and nannied for families, one of which their children homeschooled one day, so I took part in supporting the homeschooling for their children. So lots of different ways a nanny can structure their working hours and sort of the job requirements. It really just depends on the family that you work for. Sometimes we become a nanny for a friend or family or somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody. There are also nanny agencies where you would get a job working as a nanny through an agency. So lots of different options. Likely you've seen on TV even. I think there's care.com where basically they have a nanny type service. So when you have a chance, look more into that. It's very interesting how different and dynamic this position can be. I will tell you personally, I know friends that have nannies for their children because they work a lot, or maybe they work really odd hours, so they have somebody basically in their home. Maybe they're a doctor, and they might get called in sometimes on a whim, and maybe they don't have a partner, and so they need sort of somebody there on call to care for their children in the event that they have to rush to work. So lots of different reasons why people have these nannies. They can be very lucrative positions and really rewarding positions. I know when I was a nanny, I really enjoyed it. And particularly the family I got to help support the homeschooling, that was a lot of fun. So good experience for me before I became a mom myself, and just unique settings can really help us grow and learn. There's also out-of-home care, so this could be licensed family child care homes, publicly funded after-school school-age programs, privately funded programs, non-profit, and grassroots. So read through those when you have a chance. If you have some extra time, I'd recommend just Googling these to learn more. I think it can be really interesting what you might find in your own community. There's also informal care, so this would be non-traditional hours and services, drop-in programs, athletic and recreation programs, enrichment programs, so that would be like music, art, community service, and youth groups. And many public libraries have programs. Not all, but many of them do. It really just depends on the funding and what's available in the area. Some more rural libraries don't have as many programs. So I know in the South Bay that too they have some interesting drop-in type programs. Sometimes they're housed around kind of like a fun thing, so like the inflatable type jump around places. Some of those have some drop-in programs that really try to integrate some fun and learning with basically some care options. So some people are really open to allowing their children to attend these. Some don't feel like it's the right fit for them. Some just do it, on Friday nights. I know in the South Bay, I've seen a few that have sort of like a parents' night out on Friday evenings and allow children to come have fun in this play environment while the parents go out. Maybe they go get their errands done, things like that. So very interesting how different these can be. We can learn a lot from different after-school programs in other countries. You'll read more about this in your chapter 2 of the text, but very interesting. So if you have a chance, make sure you even do some extra Googling on this, because I think it's very interesting how different it can be. In the text, there's figure 2.3, so take a look at that when you get a chance. This really focuses in on the elements of an effective before and after school program. So if you were in Child Development 180, you remember that we talked about different before and after school programs and how they support children and families and how different they can be. If you work in one of these programs, which I think many of you probably do, you do know that you work a lot. For the most part, I would say that if you're in this type of position where you work a before or after school program, you are there on holidays sometimes if the school's not open. You are there during the summertime. You're there very early and very late. I would say in general, it's 6 to 6, so 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. are the hours, Monday through Friday, but sometimes this varies in different districts and different programs, so a little bit of variance there. Thinking back to Child Development 180, when we talked a little bit about legal requirements for different program types, do some brush up on that. If you weren't in the last class that I taught, Child Development 180, you might just want to do a little search on that just to kind of give yourself a nice base as we move forward in this course. So generally these have a solid curriculum, and it really is developed around meeting the vision and the goals of a program. I know in 180 we even worked on kind of a scenario where you were called to help design a program. Not unlikely. I've been in this exact situation where I've been asked to help design a program very quickly, and lots of fun, lots of work, but of course lots of fun as well. All right, with that, we'll go ahead and end here. Again, make sure you read chapter 2, and I will see you in the discussion for